Previously on Transformers Fall of Cybertron.
Decepticons! A new age is upon us. Gone are the failures of Megatron.
Hello and welcome back to Chapter 10 of Transformers Fall of Cybertron.
Soundwave, open the bridge on the far side. Yes, Megatron.
One of the things I like about Megatron in this game is the fact that everything he says is filled with this primal, impotent fury and anger. He just hates everyone.
How dare you! A perfect symbol of my reign.
That's a hit! I think we hurt him! You didn't even hurt his feelings!
Wait, what the hell? Why is this grenade stuck to me? That's not even a sticky grenade, it just landed on top of the tank and didn't come off. Like Solid Snake trying to take out the M1 tank. Anyway, there was a Marauder there, but we took good care of him. We're not like Optimus, who was weak and had to rely on old Metroplex to blow him up. We can just use our own tank cannon and blow it up with ease. I'm just going to backtrack a bit just so I can get a power up back here that's pretty useful.
Witness the reach of Megatron's wrath!
Alright, we've got the diffraction barrier. So you might have noticed that with Megatron being rebuilt, he has a brand new body. So like Optimus Prime, he has had a bit of an upgrade since the previous game. If you look at Megatron before he gets crushed by Metroplex, you'll notice that he has the same body as he did in War for Cybertron, which is a nice touch. Supposedly one of the reasons they went with this new design was so that they can make Megatron look a little bit more like he does in a TV show, Transformers Prime. He's very pointy, lots of sharp pointy bits on him, which is a nice contrast to Optimus Prime, who's very blocky in comparison.
Megatron, follow the cabling. The Autobots appear to be draining Trypticon's power core as a source of energy.
Bold move. I didn't think Optimus had it in him.
So there's Soundwave and Megatron realizing what the Autobots are doing with Trypticon's body. They're draining his power so that they can use the Energon for themselves. Even though that there was a tape cassette we saw earlier which told us the same thing.
It's here for Trypticon! Don't let him through the gates!
And let's activate the orbital beacon and protect ourselves with the shields. Let's deal with the Marauder the quick and easy way.
Locking positions! Hold that line! Hold that gate! There may be a problem, sir. No problems that can't be solved with high explosives, soldier! Now run those mags dry!
Air support! Attack!
Forward base! Is the threat contained? Negative! Negative! Forward scout, what do you see? I have no idea. What's it look like? Pain, sorrow, and eternal stasis. Not necessarily in that order.
They really do try hard to make you feel like an asshole when you're playing as Megatron.
Clear a path through that gate! With pleasure!
Yeah, you notice they sort of cheat with the transformation animation there. Like, Bruticus just sort of appears, and they try to hide it with the dust cloud when all the Combaticons land from the dropship. They don't do a very good job at hiding that, though.
Megatron, your path is clear. Onward, Decepticons! We have the Autobots on the run! Forward! Bruticus, stay behind and mop up the rest! No survivors! Attack!
Be advised! Megatron has breached the gate! Megatron has entered the facility! Thanks for the update! We can't stop them! Fall back! Decepticons have breached the gates! Fire! 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 We are firing! Then try aiming!
This only adds to my fury!
This is sort of the next shooting gallery area. It's a very big area and full of enemies, so you do have to be a little bit careful not to get overwhelmed, but the arena is very large though, and there is some room for creativity in how you take out the enemies, like this!
Behold the Autobot's future!
Now, as entertaining as watching me blow up all these Autobots is, I'm not entirely sure there's much I could add in terms of commentary, so I figured now is a good time to talk about the guys who actually made this game, High Moon Studios. I think they started off as a group called Sammy Entertainment, which is part of the Sammy Corporation. But then the Sammy Corporation then merged with Sega, and then the Sammy Entertainment division broke away and then became High Moon Studios, which was owned by, which was part of the Sierra company. But then the Sierra company was then absorbed by Activision Blizzard, so now High Moon Studio is owned by that corporate conglomerate blob of Activision Blizzard and all the companies that they own. It's all very confusing. I guess none of this is really relevant, but before this game they made a few games. They made the Dark Watch, the Bourne Conspiracy, War for Cybertron, and the Dark of the Moon movie tie-in game. Oh, here's a gun turret. They place a gun turret here, but I don't really see the point of using one because while you're in a gun turret you can't move and you don't have any cover and you can get shot at a lot, so it's generally a bad idea. Anyway, they made Transformers, War for Cybertron, and also the movie tie-in game for Dark of the Moon, which was basically using the War for Cybertron engine. Anyway, in 2012 they made Transformers Fall of Cybertron, and they also made the Deadpool game in 2013. Now, as far as I'm aware, Fall of Cybertron did sell a decent amount, but apparently according to Activision it wasn't quite good enough, and after the completion of the Deadpool project they then proceeded to fire about 40 members of High Moon Studios. And the successor to this game, Transformers Rise of the Darkspark, was not handled by High Moon Studios but a completely different company called Edge of Reality. Basically rushed the game out in about a year, stealing all the art assets from everything High Moon Studios did.
Snipers! On that bridge!
Okay, so here's a really weird thing. They introduced Autobot snipers here, which I find kind of strange because the snipers always seem very much a Decepticon enemy, especially their character designs, which are sort of very Insecticon-like. I know they're not Insecticons, but they don't really seem like an Autobot enemy, especially when you first meet them and Cliffjumper's all like, "What the frack are those?" If they were Autobot snipers, he would have known what they were.
Come in, Autobot City! Optimus! There are reports on the battlefield that Megatron is alive!
Are the reports confirmed? Here's your confirmation!
Megatron, you're functional.
Never felt better, Prime.
If you're here for Trypticon's power core, then your cause is as desperate as ours. End your aggression. We can work together.
Your pathetic ideals have turned Cybertron into the barren wasteland it has become. You are the cause. I am the solution. You deserve no less than the oblivion I will bring to you. Goodbye, Prime.
Megatron, wait!
Appropriate demise!
I don't even know why the game bothers spawning shotgun guys on a very long corridor far away from you, where they can't really do anything to you. Oh, what the hell?
They often extend great effort in vain.
Is there a shotgun guy down there?
Don't let him get Trypticon!
Perfect statement!
That's a sneaky place to place a shotgunner. You can very easily miss him, and if you just walk past him onto the ground below, he'll just shoot you in the back.
After countless megacycles of war, I have faced no harder decision. Given no more difficult order than this. Effective immediately. All Autobot soldiers are to retreat their positions and gather at Iacon. A final general evacuation has been planned, and it is presently underway. I implore all of you to resist, as I have resisted, the temptation to fight until the end. The end is here and now. Cybertron itself is past the point of survival. The future of the Autobots lies far from these war-torn lands. That future must begin now. I look forward to the honor of serving each of you again aboard the Ark. Until then, may the Primes watch over you.
That was a long audio log. Anyway, over there is where we need to go. Okay, that grenade throw was way off. Can't hide around corners when I have the fusion cannon. Anyway, up here, there's a little secret balcony, sort of, and there's a gun turret here. Now once again, this gun turret's a very bad idea because rocket guys can just shoot you in the face with rockets and kill you. So don't use gun turrets. I guess it is nice they give you the option though, but I just personally can never seem to use them properly. I just get killed all the time. I guess you're supposed to take out the rocket troopers first, but it's still very hard to sort of single them out from all the other soldiers who are just shooting you. It does make me think actually, because when you think about it, the transformation into a tank is sort of like turning into a turret, because you get reduced mobility in tank mode. So I was thinking, would it be an interesting gameplay mechanic if they made it so that instead of turning into a tank, you transformed into a gun turret? Maybe a giant cannon like your classic Galvatron, where you had a super increased firepower but you couldn't move. I don't know if that maybe would have made an interesting sort of gameplay decision where you had to decide whether or not you wanted mobility or extreme firepower and the inability to move. Sort of like having a portable turret, I guess. I just thought that would have been an interesting gameplay mechanic. Would have made Megatron's tank a little more unique, I suppose.
More fuel for the fire! All will kneel before me!
Yes, everyone bunch up together. That's good. Do this. Thank you. Bunch up together so that my cannons destroy all of you. Now, even though the tank cannon is extremely powerful, it's probably the most damaging weapon in the game. It does way more damage than Vortex's mortar bombs, although it does have a very small explosion radius, so you do actually have to be somewhat accurate with it. I suppose the best analogy I can think of is comparing it to the two different rocket launchers in TF2, where the riot cannon is much like the default rocket launcher, but the tank cannon is more like the direct hit. It's a faster projectile and is way more powerful, but you do need to be more accurate. You notice with the amount of enemies that the game is throwing at us at the moment, you can earn a lot of energon shards if you play as Megatron in this chapter, just because of the amount of people you kill.
Soundwave, are you reading this? The Autobots didn't remove the power core. Trypticon is still alive!
This part is still salvageable.
I just wanted to watch him transform before I destroyed him.
Rockets like this will pave the way! Feel my wrath, Autobot!
Nope, slightly too low to reach those boxes. Unfortunately, you can't change your height while you're hovering, you're just kind of stuck at that level until you slam to the ground or it runs out. Let's try again. Okay, now we're high enough. Look at all these energon shards.
Ready for speed!
Megatron, this is hardly speed.
Now, time to move!
I guess the tank's just kind of slow and cumbersome. I don't even know why he says, "Time for speed," when he knows it's like the slowest form of transport.
Fall back! Fall back!
Green lasers, the kind that'll jam your systems. If we walk through those green lasers, we won't be able to hover, dodge, or sprint. Let's start by taking care of these two cannons. That's taken care of. Now let's bring on the rain. Just give me a sec, I'll be there in a minute. I'm a bit slow at the moment. Excellent. Now during the development of this game, Matt Teager, the game's director, he also worked on War for Cybertron. Although he didn't work on the Dark of the Moon movie tie-in game, that game was made by High Moon Studios, but it was not directed by Matt Teager. I think it was a completely different team actually. But yeah, he says that Fall of Cybertron isn't a sequel, but a successor. So I guess what he was saying, the main point he wanted to get across was that you didn't have to play War for Cybertron to really understand this game. And despite that there's this entire section here where we're trying to retrieve Trypticon, which you wouldn't really know who or what Trypticon is unless you played the previous game. Like, they just mentioned that, oh, he crashed, but you're never really told why. Not in this game, anyway. I mean, I guess it's not really an important plot detail, but it was basically the entire finale event of the Autobot campaign of the previous game.
What is this abomination?
First class Autobot. Heavy weapons and armor. Very formidable.
As am I.
You'll notice that often whenever we fight the Autobot Titan, the game gives you a cover, but usually it's destructible in some way, which I guess keeps you on your toes and tries to make you move around a bit more. And now I've run out of ammo for my riot cannon. And now I'm out of ammo for my rocket launcher. Must be some more ammo around here somewhere. There we are.
Ordered an army?
Oh, he was nearly dead anyway. Might as well have transformed into a tank. Plenty of ammo in there. Aha, over here is a tape cassette. But how do we get to it? Well, there's a tiny window up here that we can squeeze through in tank mode.
Must move quickly! Bow before Megatron!
Peace will be attained through war, and nothing short of it. Hearing this simple truth, so elegantly expressed, was the first time I took genuine notice of the gladiator called Megatron. Like most Decepticons, I felt an inexplicable draw to the gladiator pits, even before Megatron began his steady rise to glory. Pulled to the arena as if the violence itself were somehow beckoning us. Which of course it was. The High Council and even Optimus himself underestimated Megatron for this reason. They believed that he created a revolution. The opposite was the case. The revolution created Megatron.
Yeah, this Decepticon guy is going on about oppression and stuff, but, like, you're not going to have a clue what the hell he's on about unless you've looked into the backstory of Transformers. Not unless you've read, like, the Exodus novel or something.
Stop him!
Okay, before we continue on, over here is the Teletran store, and we have quite a lot of bitcoins, so let's go and invest them.
How may I serve you, Megatron?
Yep, 20,000 Energon shards, which means we can afford the final perk, the Energon buffer.
Megatron's will is the fate of Cybertron.
It's kind of weird how the Teletran computer doesn't really have any kind of, like, allegiance to anyone. It's pretty neutral in the whole war. But the computer also has double standards, by what I could tell. Because when you use it as Optimus Prime, he's all like, the last Prime, this is an honor, beep boop. When you access the store as Megatron, he's all like, Megatron's will is the fate of Cybertron. Anyway, now we have the Energon buff where we have an extra 100 health points. Once you get this perk, you're basically obligated to play the game on hard mode. If you don't, it's pretty much impossible to die, unless you're a filthy casual. Now, the extra 100 health isn't just a double health bonus, it is just a flat 100 points of health, because it also applies to when you play as Bruticus. Bruticus has 1,000 points of health, and when you play now, whenever you play as Bruticus with this perk on, you'll have 1,100 points of health. But yeah, we basically have all the perks, which is nice. We still have to upgrade all the weapons though. And there's a lot of weapons to upgrade. We won't be upgrading them all in a single playthrough, unfortunately, but still, I guess if you really wanted to upgrade all your weapons and see what they do when they're upgraded, there's some replayability factor in there. Although, while the Riot Cannon is extremely cool when it's super powered up, not all weapons have a really cool Destructo power as their final unlock. You know how this cannon has the Planet Buster as its last unlock. Not all guns have like a really awesome gimmick to them. Some do, but not all of them.
Soundwave, I have a visual on Trypticon's leg stabilizers. They've been sectioned off.
Destroying the batteries should free them from their minds.
Now you can kind of see it when I look down, but there is a giant bottomless pit around these platforms here. For some reason, when I first played the game, I continually walked off into the bottomless pits while scraping these enemies. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just because it's dark down there and it's not immediately clear that it's a bottomless pit, but for some reason I kept doing it when I first played this game. Anyway, we're here and we can see Trypticon. These pieces have been disassembled, but that's okay, we're just going to put them back together again. Now, I mentioned before that I had the Fall of Cybertron art book, and it's quite interesting because you can see a lot of artwork that shows ideas they had for the main storyline. Originally, you weren't supposed to find Trypticon inside, you know, this Autobot base here, where he crashed. You were actually supposed to get Trypticon back from the giant transport, the one that was carrying all the Energon in chapters 6 and 7. I don't know why there's an ammo pickup stuck to a wall there. I guess you're supposed to use the hover to get to it, but I don't know why you'd do that.
There! I see Trypticon's torso unit!
There's other concept art as well of, like, an armada of ships carrying the remains of Trypticon, like, and flying him by air. That would have been an interesting mission, I suppose. There are a few sort of unused ideas, like in the Sea of Rust, originally there was going to be an underwater section, and the concept art shows sort of Bumblebee transformed into like a submarine mode, and you'd be fighting off Sharkticons. Anyway, thanks for the entrance, Laserbeak.
Has Optimus witnessed firsthand the sight of Trypticon disassembled, pulled from limb to limb? His still-living carcass slowly bled dry by our leaching tubes. Does war give us the right to live like parasites off our fallen enemies? I am hopeful that those wiser than me see issues such as this more clearly than I.
Well, there's Trypticon's torso unit. Let's put him back together. Whew. This is hard work. Who'd have thought being a bodybuilder would be so tiring? It is pretty convenient that when the Autobots disassembled Trypticon, they left him inside machinery and equipment that would very easily be able to reassemble him whenever required. You know, sometimes I do notice that whenever they take cover, the foot soldiers take cover, they don't really do a very good job. Like, you can still see them, like, protruding out the edges of the wall, and you can still shoot them very easily. Of course, with the Riot Cannon, it's completely trivial because it has splash damage, so all you have to do is shoot sort of past the wall and you'll hit the enemy. That never gets old. For some reason, there's an invisible wall that's stopping me from hitting that sniper. Something you do have to be a little bit careful of is that your Riot Cannon does do splash damage to yourself.
All will kneel before me!
So you just have to be careful when shooting an enemy at point-blank range so you don't accidentally kill yourself.
Fast! Open the door, Soundwave!
Yes, Megatron.
Because I've actually done that. I've killed myself with the Planet Buster shot at point-blank range, just killing me. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but I was low on health at the time, so... Alright, no more time to waste. Let's move on ahead. It is actually surprisingly easy to run out of ammo with the riot cannon. I mean, because especially with the increased fire rate when we upgraded it, you can fire pretty indiscriminately, and you can eat through a lot of ammo that way. The thing is, there are lots of ammo pickups. It's very rare that you'll ever find yourself in a situation where there's no ammo anywhere. This is because one of the biggest complaints about War for Cybertron was that there wasn't enough ammo pickups. Players would frequently find themselves in situations where they didn't have any ammo anywhere and had to switch out weapons or find new weapons and had to basically scrounge around, and you just kind of had to be pretty careful about how you used your guns if you didn't want to run out of ammo.
Hack it, Soundwave!
At your command, Lord Megatron.
Well, now we have to protect Soundwave while he increases Trypticon's energon level. At least I thought it was supposed to be protecting Soundwave, because it turns out that none of the enemies actually go for Soundwave, they just shoot you instead. So I think you're just supposed to survive until the end, which is fair enough, I guess. Soundwave has also activated some gun turrets, so that's nice. But yeah, as I was saying, War for Cybertron, one of the biggest complaints was the lack of ammo, so they directly addressed this in this game by basically making ammo everywhere. There's a lot more ammo pickups, they increased the amount of reserve ammo that you could hold in a weapon, and they gave all the ammo pickups this really bright blue outline, so they're really easy to see out in the open. Planet Buster, oh yeah! You might remember way back in Chapter 2, when we were playing as Optimus Prime, in the area where we first met the shotgun troopers, there's actually a secret room that I showed off, where there's a whole bunch of ammo supplies, and there's a little message on one of the ammo supplies that says urgent delivery to Decagon. Of course, Decagon Plaza is where the first chapter of the Autobot campaign takes place, so it's a little inside joke to those who complained about the lack of ammo in the first game, War for Cybertron. I thought that was actually kind of cool. I didn't know it was a joke referring to that at the time. I didn't point it out when we saw it in the video, in the Let's Play. I only found out about this somewhat recently in an interview. And it's actually pretty cool. It is kind of admirable that they took a lot of feedback from the community. That's the reason why this game, I think, is actually very good, is because a lot of the issues they've addressed are things that people have brought up. As I mentioned, people complained about the lack of ammo, so they addressed that. People complained about repetitiveness in the campaign, so they got rid of the two separate campaigns for Autobots and Decepticons, because that was one of the factors that led to the repetition. Basically, because with two separate campaigns, you had basically 2 first levels, 2 second levels, you know, and so on. So they got rid of that and made it a single campaign that encompassed both Autobots and Decepticons to make it less repetitive. They added more variation in the characters. Each character plays a lot differently. People complained that the graphics were kind of dull and grey and hard to see where anything was, so they improved the colour palette of this game and the art design. Even the PC version was due to requests from the Steam forums. So I actually quite like that. I had a lot of respect for High Moon Studios for what they did in terms of responding to the community. It's nice when they do that.
I shouldn't need this! Soundwave, report!
Trypticon remains in deep stasis. Power core at 63% integrity. Catalytic overdrive generator is severely damaged. Estimated repair time.
No, there will be no repairs. Trypticon, if you can hear me, understand this is not a rescue mission. Despite your great power, you failed to destroy the Autobots. You failed. Henceforth, your chassis will be altered and redesigned to my specifications.
Megatron, in his damaged state, Trypticon's alternate form will become permanent.
All the better. Soundwave, initiate the Nemesis protocol.
And then Trypticon was a spaceship. Well, that's all for this chapter. See you guys next time for chapter 11.
Billy, I promise you, I'll get those dirty scum for you. Cassette Robot, I'll leave this to you.
All right, Chief.